Well, a very good afternoon. Welcome to Bernie Shee to the A section grand final for 1988, which is a replay of the 1987. Perhaps this time, Bernie, Ormond go in as favourites and Xavs go in as runners-up.
Yes, Peter, you've pointed out a few times in your editorials that it's not necessarily the way to win it by winning the second semi-final. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Ormond can go on with it after winning the second semi. As normal at Elsternwick Park, the conditions are particularly windy. There's a strong wind blowing from the south, blowing down towards the road end, which obviously have a very big bearing on the game. I'm not sure that it will particularly suit Ormond. Ormond are an exceptionally good marking side, and if they line up as maybe we expect they'll win, there's a Shoecraft on the forward line and both a Carboon and a Taylor across the half forward line. Very strong marking players. Not bad when it hits the ground, but I'm just not sure that three tall fellas in the forward line will be the answer for Ormond. It'll be interesting to see. I thought they looked a bit better balanced in the second semi when Taylor came off the ground.
Well, do you think that Xavs have got better or equal crummers and on-ball players to the Xavs?
I'd have thought if Xavs are going to win, that's the area that they are better, Peter. That particularly in the final, that the two rovers, Danny Maher and Jack Tiernan, isn't it, played
Correct.
Exceptionally good games. Mick Atkins, very good low to the ground. I think if there's an area that that Xavs are better, it is low to the ground.
Well, Bernie, you've seen the wind. It is pretty strong since we've been out here. Who do you like to win the game?
Well, I think Ormond will win. I think they're a better side this year, but I don't think that the conditions will particularly suit them. But despite that, I still expect Ormond to win, particularly on their finals form.
Well, you've been listening to Bernie Shee with some pre-match commentary before the big game. Peter French for ABC Television Sport.
I will. I'll delightfully.
Yes, certainly. Players just warming up on the ground now. Umpires Cameron Swale and Greg Hardiman are there also. There's another bit of sticky on there with you. Is that all right?
You sit out here. We'll bring smoke in as he's needed. Well, a very important.
Go for it, Billy.
A very important toss won by Ormond to kick against the breeze. Bernie, some judges suggested Nash wouldn't line up on Curtin. They're giving him plenty of room.
No, good move, I think, Peter. Nash is very good overhead. He's very strong, and obviously they'll be backing on him, running away from Curtin. Curtin will kick goals.
Taylor starting off the ball.
Taylor on a half forward flank.
And Shoecraft here loose around the back line, but I think that's just a ploy.
I would think so. That's McKay with him.
Carboon, Greetham's picked him up.
Yep.
Beattie minding Jobling. And Ross Tonkin will go on. Kingston in the centre at the start. It's an interesting one, Bernie.
Yes, he won't play in there, I don't think, Peter, but they'll just use him in at the early centre squares, I'd say, because of his physical strength. It is an interesting move as to whether or not Beattie's going to pick up Jobling.
I think Gilmore on playing on Mars, another one, because Gilmore's been a winger all year.
Yes.
First tap out goes to me. They dive on top of the ball. Swale finds the kick. It goes to Ross Tonkin. Ordinary looking drop punt towards centre half forward. The foot of the pack there for Ormond, and a very ticky touchwood free kick. And it goes to the old Xaverian back pocket player Brennan. He kicks fairly long and wide the outer side. David McDonald touches it in the Van Callen. One bounce. Onto that left foot, centres the ball. Forsyth reading it beautifully, marks well, about 20 metres out from goal. Chips a pass out wide towards Russell. Ball on his own, he can come up this side of the ground. It's a better looking kick towards Shoecraft. Long way from full forward. Kicks a shot.
Out of bounds on the full.
Out of bounds on the full.
Free kick to Xavs there, Pete.
Pushing and shoving. Free kick goes. Kingston having a bit of a box on.
Footing there.
Ball. Bullaboy.
So there's a good chance Gooding's picking up Kingston
Looks like-
deliberately. Kingston's been a good player against Zavs in the past.
Corcoran suggesting that he'll mind Kingston with Gooding. Towards Jobling, goes back up high was Grummett, couldn't quite mark it. Forsyth gets a hand pass to his skipper Barnes, who heads for the touch. By Russell's a chance if it doesn't go out. Ball beats players out of bounds here on the grandstand side. Peter McTaggart in his first A section final throws the ball into play. Taylor up high, a wonderful hit out. Cox can't grab it. Greetham in possession.
Holding the ball.
And he's paid it. Cox gets a free kick just wide of centre.
Very slow Greetham in that particular passage of play. Was always going to get caught holding the ball.
Atkins standing mark. A very important player for Zavs. Cox kicks towards full forward. There's nobody home here. A good mark is taken by Brennan.
Did Ormond definitely win the toss, Peter?
That's to be confirmed. On a splendid mark
Barnes.
in the centre of the ground by Barnes, a real captain's mark. It might have hurt the Ormond skipper a bit. Kicks towards this side of the ground, looking for Carboon. Punched away from him, but he recovers well and taps it away to Cox. He falls over to crucial stage. Allows Atkins into the play. Strong bump Kingston, and Atkins knew about that as he wheels round onto that left foot in towards centre half forward. Good try, Jervisoni. He's been picked up by Marks. Paul Curtin gets it free. Quick hands to brother Peter. Gets one a bit high, and he gets a free kick just inside the square in the centre of the ground.
Often backs back into the play, Peter.
Goes long towards brother Stephen, but coming back, nearly marking the ball was David McDonald. Holding a free kick against Ross Tonkin, and Marr takes it. Ruckman on Rover.
Don't agree with that one, Peter. Don't agree with that.
No, not a bad kick, and should score from just outside 45. Danny Marr holds Xaverian Rover. Had a good final series. Wobbly looking punt kick makes the distance, but accuracy astray, and the first score are behind to the old Xaverians.
Fairly important miss there too, Peter. It's
Shoecraft
important
leading
early
here.
in the game.
Very good kick from Nash to Shoecraft, who marks in front of John Mackay. Now quite remarkably, Shoecraft playing in a back pocket at the moment. Kicks well towards our comedy position, and Atkins puts himself in beautifully in front of Kingston. Gooding wants to go on with it. And a 50-metre, well, Hardeman is going. He's telling everybody who's in charge of this game, and it's him.
Atkins should kick the distance from here now, Peter. Very important shot, as I just said a minute ago. Important when you kick with the wind, but you do kick your deliberate shots at goal.
I think Ormond has probably done the wrong thing in using Shoecraft loose in defence or away from his full forward position. Comment?
Just the way the game's going at present, Pete, I think they're just trying to pull him down into the game in the quarter. They kick into the wind.
Sure. Atkins, or shocking kick towards the outer side. One hand by David McDonald. Grummett with him. And a costly miss for Zabs. They've had two direct shots at goal now, both from within kicking distance. They do have the aid of a breeze worth perhaps 4 or 5 goals.
Yes, I'd say at least that much if it was played properly, Peter.
Throw in, down to ground, Forsyth doing well in this quarter, kicks it wide. And it beats McCook out of bounds in front of the little scoreboard, outer side of the ground. Even the merry-go-round stop.
Tonkin.
Once the footy starts. Good tackle by Tonkin, in again. Hardeman will bounce. Half forward flank for old Zabs, kicking to the Glen Huntley Road goal.
I don't know whether the wind's dropped at all, Peter. It's pretty hard to tell up here, but just looks
Tonkin
a little
gets
bit
it away
stiller on
again.
the
Dan
ground.
gets a kick. High up in the air, Stephen Curtin and Nash in there. Or McDonald, the flyer. And he's picked out a free kick to Stephen Curtin, who claimed it as well.
He's never been backward in claiming free kicks, Peter Curtin, so it wouldn't necessarily mean it was there, Pete.
Very important kick again for Zabs. They do need to get some goals with this breeze. Stephen Curtin
Not a good
dropped
kick
punts
in windy
towards
conditions
goal.
as a rule.
They like it up there, and I think he's kicked it. Right, 6-minute mark. Zabs 1-1. Ormond yet to score.
I don't think it's been such a bad 6 minutes for Ormond. They've had the ball down towards their half-forward line. It is a strong wind. As you mentioned earlier, 2 fairly comfortable shots missed, and that was quite a good goal.
Well, another
for
interesting
Peter
move here. Atkins in a forward pocket and Mortensen in the centre. Ball breaking away, Callan. Well caught, but he didn't have the ball, and the position's right.
Push in the back,
here.
Push
Free
in the
kick
back.
to Callan, the centre of the ground.
Crude tackle.
Good lead from Steve Curtin. He's going to mark, though. Chipping in, Ormond defenders. Russell gets clear. Handball's wide to David McDonald. Out again to Forsyth. Coming round this grandstand side towards Shoecraft. Perhaps should have got to that. Does now. Got a bit too much pace for Johnny Mackay. Paul Curtin gets him, though. Mortensen in for Zabs and runs it out of bounds. Just Ormond's side of centre wing. Shoecraft playing in defence whilst Ormond are against the wind. Meehan in ruck against Taylor. Taylor gets it down. Kingston leads, pushes it forward. Hotly pursued on that occasion by David Mackay. 2 or 3 of the Zav blokes preferring the long sleeve jumper. Mackay brothers, Dermot Dan. Oh, Taylor up very high, gets it clear. Kingston a chance now, swoops on the ball within kicking range here. His kick's a good one. I think he's... No, a point. The goal umpire says it's mine, Pete. And he might too. Callan has infringed after Kingston kicked, and the Ormond winger and Australian captain, All-Australian captain as a result of this year's carnival, has a very difficult shot.
Steve, you're quite right, Peter. It's an extremely difficult shot from that pocket. Even the shot that he had, the previous shot, really curved away badly to finish. It'll be a super goal if he can kick it from there.
Within 45, the golf course end. Kicks shockingly out of bounds on the full. Probably should have scored, Bernie.
Yes, I did think it was a difficult shot. Maybe he should have taken the first point. Has he got that option, or have you changed that rule?
Well, he has the option of taking the kick.
Get into that boundary throw in.
High in the air, Taylor again, Meehan over the top. That time comes to Carboon, and there's a great snap from the big centre half forward, and a very handy goal at the non-scoring in from the ex-state banker, Stewie Carboon.
Super goal from Carboon came, I think, from a knockout over the back by Scotty Taylor, which he'd done at the previous knockout too, the one that Kingston gathered. Carboon gathered it beautifully for a fella that's about 6'5" or 6". His ground skills are exceptionally good. It's the second time he's shown good recovery. Jeff Greetham trying to rough him up a bit. I don't think that's Jeff Greetham's strength.
Tonkin wins to Beatty. Court gets rid of it. Kick off the ground. Grummet to Barnes. Gets the ball away towards centre half.
Carboon again.
Carboon from behind. Can't mark. Paul Curtin does it well. And kicks wildly towards half-back, playing on outer side. David McDonald falls over and infringes on that occasion. A free kick to Mortensen. Or is that Taylor out there? It might be young Taylor. It is the boy from Old Carey. Towards centre half forward, best in position to mark, and does so well. There's plenty of options too, and chips one out towards Russell. Seemingly all alone on this wing. Russell with strength, a bit of pace, kicks low and hard towards Kingston. He takes a great mark in front of us. Good in trying to play, and that should be 50 metres. Be careful. Well, the Ormond supporters perhaps rightfully indignant, Bernie.
Yes, Pete, obviously, as I said earlier, Zavs have gone out of their way to play a stronger player on Kingston, but I wouldn't say it's worked just up to this minute.
Well, a kick towards Shoecraft, splendidly marked by John Mackay. Shoecraft falls on him and gets the 50 metres. Well, not a lot of difference in the previous one. The swale is there. The umpires are showing that they are in charge of this game.
I think the previous 50 wasn't paid because Kingo contributed to it himself. In that on that occasion there, I don't think Mackay caused the trouble at all.
Not unreasonable.
Maybe it's Mackay.
John Mackay, full back, kicks very awkward punt kick towards centre forward. A lovely mark to Zabs, and it's Taylor. Wanted the ball just a fraction more, I thought, than best. And the free kick.
No, paid the mark, and a good decision too, I reckon. He dropped it very late, but I thought he held it long enough, even though it was a chest mark.
A bit of maturity and experience there.
Yeah, David Taylor, I think, isn't it?
It is David running in front of the pack.
Yeah, surprisingly the ball did drop short, but he did well. It's interesting that the 3 times that Zavs have tried to chip it into Stephen Curtin, the space been very completely filled up.
Taylor stabs at goal. I think he's kicked it. Good goal. Confident kick, Bernie?
It was a nice kick, certainly a badly needed goal by Zavs. We've gone 11 minutes and they're only leading by 7 points at this stage, and as I said, it is a good end. Maybe Zavs will have to play another great quarter into the wind like they did to get to this grand final.
It's interesting, some of the moves. We've still got Shoecraft lining up here on perhaps centre wing if you look at them.
Yes, I think if Shoecraft...
Atkins in a forward pocket has been marked by Forsyth. Mortensen playing in the centre at the minute. Meehan hits it out too far, gives McCook a chance. It bounces cruelly for him. Marr gets it clear. Paul Curtin at the foot of the ball. McCook gets an awkward kick towards Beattie. Kicks it in front of him. Allows Cox to go in. A crude tackle by Cox is unseen. Zabs get it out well, but it goes to Kingston. Onto that right foot. Good shepherd by Scotty Taylor. Kingston deep into the forward line. Who's at home there? Or Sutherland nearly took a good one. Scotty Taylor in the back from here. Not paid. And Zabs clear with a punch to Carboon again with a chance. His kick will go out of bounds. Deep in the forward pocket and provide a free kick.
Nice to see the free kick in the back, not paid to Taylor. It was 90% of the stage. Good umpiring.
Bit of pushing and shoving by Carboon and Paul Curtin. Nothing much in that. Mickey Marks with the ball. Left back pocket. Goes the short one towards Gooding. It's a shocking kick. Shoecraft drags him. And umpire Swale Hardeman, as it correctly says, holding the man.
Very good to be gained by the Zavs chip kick round the wing in the quarter that they're kicking with the wind.
12:49.
This is going to come very wide
kick
too.
from Gooding. Taylor at the seat. Drummond up high as well. Well done, Forsyth. One of Ormond's better players at the moment. McCook. Mackay again comes clear. Left foot kick towards Drummond over his head. Allows Barnes to get back first, and he does with surprising pace. Peter Curtin in there. Taylor. Here's a chance for Peter Curtin. Oh, well done, David McDonald dives on top. Got one high. And seen by Swale. And the free kick will go to the Ormond defender.
David
just
McDonald
within 45
there.
metres. A number of positional changes from the previous finals by both coaches. Good kick from McDonald. Taylor his option. Taylor up. Well punched away by Mackay. Gilmore in there. He can't get the ball. McCook runs onto it now. A hand pass to Best. Quickly across to Taylor. A very hurried kick. Paul Curtin marks falling. Thought about playing on.
Should have hand passed to Greetham going straight down the middle of the ground.
Certainly. Goes the drop punt kick towards centre half forward for big pack. And David McDonald, a great mark.
Going to get killed if they don't get the ball moving. Ormond just too strong
Hurt his
overhead.
brother in that encounter. David getting up very slowly. Mark not looking too flash either. Stern's made of tough stuff. David McDonald out towards the grandstand sides. Taylor in the van. Got the hands on it. Couldn't hold it. Kingston in there with Paul Curtin. And Hardeman says he'll bounce. And they've settled down pretty well.
Yes, it's been a pretty...
Interesting to see Beattie wearing Jobling like a glove.
Yeah, he's done a good job to this stage.
Jobling hasn't had a possession yet. Meehan a good hit out to Taylor. And also a damaging player, Barnes and Curtin. Good punch away. Callan roving it magnificently. Has the shot into the open goal. Left foot kick, and I think he's kicked it. Great goal from Anthony Callan.
There's very poor play by Sutherland there.
Yes.
It was fairly obvious from the marking contest that the ball was going to be hit down the front. Grummett did well to take the front position. It was obvious the ball was going to be brought to the front, and Callan let his man in by, maybe 8 or 9 yards. But Callan also did it very nicely, balanced himself beautifully. He does have very good balance and steadied, and a really good goal. 3-1, Zavs 19, Ormond 1 goal straight, 6 points, 15 minutes gone.
Punched by Kingston, takes away a very good hit out from Meehan. Runs his full distance towards Shoecraft, now at full forward. Shoecraft with a bit of pace there. Greetham doing battle with him. Wins on this occasion. Lovely shepherd Beattie. And long kick down that outer side towards the running Peter Curtin, who marks splendidly and earns it because Barnes is there on the scene as well. Out to Greetham again.
Too wide.
Long in towards that pocket. Stephen Curtin got the run, and a good try from Grummett. Curtin gets a kick in further towards goal. Forsyth's there to punch it away. But right in the Zavs forward pocket in front of the scoreboard.
Bad choice of Peter Curtin to handball the guy running down the boundary line side in the quarter. They're going with a 4 or 5 goal win. Just channel the ball into that forward pocket.
Certainly Ormond have struggled to get going at the moment. Curtin in ruck. Taylor punches it clear towards the boundary. That's where it goes. Throw in, Taylor up high again, gets it away. Dan onto a left foot, centres the ball, and Jobling comes into it and marks well, this time reading the game better than before. Wonderful tackle by Stephen Curtin, allows Zavs in with a chance.
Poor awareness by Jobling, I thought. Pete, what did you think there?
Yeah, he certainly saw the lead from McDonald out wide and perhaps didn't take into account plenty of Zavs around him. It'll be a bounce on the practice wicket area, 25 metres from the Xaverians' goal. They lead 3-1 to 1 goal. Stephen Curtin in ruck. Taylor wins it again. Out towards David. Grummett in chance. Dan appeals for a free. Flips it out towards Beattie. Beattie a kick in towards goal. Will go out on the full. Forsyth to take it. Down the outer side towards centre wing. Sutherland up high, couldn't mark at the ball.
Atkins.
Peter Curtin. Towards David McDonald. Mark McDonald playing in front of Grummett. Marks on his chest. Bangs it back to whence it came. Barnes punches it clear. It comes off nicely to Carboon. His kick's a shocker. Paul Greetham doesn't attack it strongly. In go Ormond. Stacks on the mill. Umpire hard him and bounce. Play part. Callan in ruck, punches it clear to Jobling. Good hand pass to Carboon. In towards centre half forward for Ormond. Kingston up flyer, nearly a one-hander. Gives Cox a chance. Spins onto his right foot. Snap for goal, looks all right, but Mackay just gets back in front of Shoecraft to mark on the line. Sees the lead from Ricky Marks on his own. Marks on his chest.
Excellent passage of play up to there. Beautiful hand pass by Jobling and good play by Carboon. But Mark's going to...
Could be Brendan. Oh, Atkins read it beautifully over the back of Godfrey Russell. Plays on. Oh, a terrible kick. Towards Peter Curtin, McCook. Peter Curtin got hands on it. Forsyth now a chance. He's making a bit of pace in that occasion, but it comes back to him. Russell Barnes in. Does it well. Barnes a blind turn. On to Russell. Ormond coming up the grandstand side towards Kingston and takes a mark. No, play on, he said. Gee, well, Mike MacArthur-Allen venting his spleen there in front of the umpire Swale, and Gooding comes
well, one
away
thing,
with
Pete, when we want to show the highlights of that blind turn of Barnes is we won't have to put it in a slow motion.
No, we will not. Ross Tonkin stands the mark. What do you think of that kick?
Nice flat punt there, be easy to mark.
Dave McDonald breaks clear. Kicks towards Jobling and Beattie.
No, it's a bad decision.
Paul Beattie gets the good bounce. Gets away from Jobling. Kicks here towards the leading mark. Gilmore right beside him. Steve Curtin and Nash. Steve in front. Using strength. Oh, clever play by Stephen Curtin. Traps it, has a snapshot. Just the wrong side. 1 point.
It's a pity he didn't kick that. It was a beautiful use of the body, something Stephen's always been very strong at. Nash was badly outpointed there. Would have been quite an inspirational goal to kick it with that clever piece of play.
I'd come back to the mark to Kingston.
I'd have paid the mark to Kingston, Pete, and I couldn't see what the free was for.
Kingston running well here in front of us. Nash not knowing where to go. Beautiful kick of the football. Decides to come out our side again. Atkins is in on his own here.
Free to Atkins.
Should have been. Peter Curtin gets it. Spins out of trouble. Hand pass back to McCook. A lovely hand pass to Russell. He goes onto the left foot towards centre half forward, and Jervis only marks. There's a bit of a stoush on in front of us, but umpire Hardiman's here to sort it all out. Peter Curtin, Kingston, David McDonald. Not much in that. The kick goes up towards Shoecraft. Mackay with him, punches it away well, and Greetham traps it. Goes straight up the centre, as you suggested, Bernie, towards Marr and Gilmore. Marr the flyer over the back. David McDonald turns on the left foot, comes back on the right, nowhere to go. Wolf straight across goal to Forsyth, who marks on his own. Thinks about a handball. All he does to Taylor, in a bit of trouble. Taylor gets clear. An awkward looking kick in towards McCook. You'd better trap it, Stephen. He gets out of trouble quite nicely. Round onto the left foot. Kingston and Atkins want to go on with things, but looking further afield, Tonkin, Mackay, bit of pushing and shoving with Mortensen and Peter Curtin. Play goes on. David Mackay gets one high. Swale says play on. In goes Best. His kick smothered. Ormond trying to push it forward. And a free kick to the ironical cheers of the Ormond supporters will go to back pocket player David Best. Right on the centre wing.
Good umpiring of Cameron Swow to let the game go on too. Quickest way to break up the blue behind the plate.
McCook
to
might
let the game go on.
Yes, McCook might take both boys a bit sore from that encounter. Mortensen on the ground. Best trying to hobble off, and McCook takes the resultant free kick.
Yeah, Best doesn't look too fresh there.
Neither does Mortensen. As McCook, no one on the mark, kicks into that forward pocket for Ormond. Nobody at home. And a good mark by Jeff Greetham, who's certainly on top of Carboon at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know whether I would agree with that one, Pete, but anyway, that was a good mark.
Oh, great mark, Taylor. The back there. Over the top of Dan. Taylor, the left foot.
This is dangerous here. Yeah. I'm with you, Corey. It's not going to word in a minute. It's spoken.
Jobling and Taylor. Lovely kick from Jobling to Carboon. Should have marked that. Against Bar the Rover. Tap clear again. Sutherland a hand pass. Back to McDonald. Kick towards goals. Who's there for Ormond? McCook. Can't mark. Ross Tonkin. Wild hand pass. Shoecraft caught. Kicked out wide. Well done, Zabs. Tonkin on the ground. That's Craig. Fumbles. Hotly pursued by Dermot. Dan does well. Long hand pass back into play. Makes it hard for Taylor, but he's got the pace. Kicks in towards. And a lovely mark for Ormond on this occasion. Rather old Zabs by David Mackay. Goes into the centre. Beattie on his own. Beattie right on the square. Long kick towards centre half forward. Steve Curtin in the van. Off Barnes' hand. Oh, Zabs in here. They're all on their own. Chip pass. And a mark by Grummett. 1 yard out. Kicks a goal. Bernie Sheep.
Well, I think as our leading ABC commentator, Smokey Dawson, pointed out to us, Ormond was certainly very keen to cross the ball into the middle, coming up into a strong wind, and it worked a couple of times. They didn't lose it, but the one time they did lose it, the ball rebounded straight down the ground. Steve Curtin did a good job at centre half forward. He just smashed the pack apart. I thought it was pretty close to a free kick, but by at least smashing the pack apart, it allowed the ball to carry on, which helped the forwards.
Zabs, plenty of runners at the moment. Good hit out by Million to Atkins. Hand pass. Beattie. Long kick towards the goal scoring area. Nash leading in the ruck. Peter Curtin tries to have it away. Barnes is there right beside him, and he'll be content, I think, to see it go out of play.
Doesn't make many mistakes, Russell Barnes, and that was a good example there. He just had to make sure that Peter Curtin didn't get a clean hit at the ball, which he made sure of, and eventually forced it out of bounds.
24 minutes gone. Curtin in ruck against Tonkin. Tonkin away. McCook caught with the ball, play on. Callan again onto the left foot, right in towards the centre. Tonkin must mark if he can. Peter Curtin on top of the ball. Swale wants to bounce it. And Ormond look a fraction rattled. Beattie caught with the ball, play on, the umpire says. Comes out towards Forsyth, nowhere to go. Tries to kick, lucky. To Russell. Kingston does it well. No one to kick to, but a good hand pass to David. The ball is out of play. Zabs 4-2, Ormond 1 goal. Old Zab's doctor been round to see Brennan, I'd suggest. Who came on for Zabs? Did you pick up Keenan, is it?
I think you're right, Peter.
Keenan's come on, and Craig Tonkin is Best, and Brennan went off the ground after that recent encounter a few moments back. Good hit out by Grummett. Forsyth couldn't get the kick away, but he gets the free kick. Tackled without the ball.
Hit straight towards goal, always going to go to defenders. Grummett did it perfectly, hit it straight to the Ormond player.
Short kick towards Mark McDonald. Does it well.
Stay with the red knob, Graham.
Long kick into the breeze. Or Gervasoni up high, couldn't mark it, but it comes clear to Tiernan. Tiernan's hand passes a shocker, gives Ormond a chance. Russell's tackle can't be made. Tiernan recovers well, but Cox should have marked that. Tonkin does well to get out of trouble. Or does he? lucky. Tonkin's in real trouble. Gets it to brother. Atkins got the ball. McCook a high one against him.
Free to Atkins.
Free kick to Atkins. Ormond had the chances, Bernie, then to clear the ball.
Yes, Tonkin probably just held on to it a little bit too long. Again, they did bring the ball back into the centre of the ground fairly early, maybe going to pay the penalty, although Atkins is a notoriously bad shot for goal.
Well, he would be 50 metres out from goal.
Just 50 metres on the 50-metre mark. Probably kick it from a bit further than that.
Once again, a poor wobbly punt kick. Nearly a one-handed mark on that occasion to McGregor Grummett. It goes off hands and through for one behind. Smokey Dawson believes the 3-goal advantage is not enough. Nash looking for options. Chips into the back pocket. And the mark is taken by David McDonald. Nash making good position, but Stephen Curtin did well to mark him. Big kick towards half-back. Barnes underneath the ball, jobbling away on this occasion. Will have the pace. Mortensen chasing hard, but Jobling backs himself in. 2 bounces. 3 bounces. Oh, lost the run of it there. Has a fourth. Gets the kick in. It's no good, but it comes off to Carboon. Plays on quickly. Left foot in towards Shoecraft. Got the front position. Couldn't mark it. Gervasoni coming back onto the right foot to McCook. Back to Carboon. He has the left foot. It's goal. Kingston behind. Can't mark. Good play, Johnny Mackay. Knocks it out of play right beside the behind post. The goal course end of the ground. Meehan, good punch away towards Gooding. Comes up for him nicely. Left foots it round the wing. Russell gets the bad bounce. Peter Curtin comes back. Fox will get there first. Does well. Good hand pass to Forsyth. Gets well around his Curtin. Back to Gilmore. Good kick in towards centre forward. Carboon could mark this and does. Right on 45. Well, he's the best kick in the Ormond side, Carboon. The siren sounds, and a very vital one, Bernie.
Give us a good idea of the wind too, Pete, because as you pointed out, he's an excellent kick, Carboon. But I reckon he'll struggle for distance right on the 45-metre line. He'll be kicking from about 48 or 49 metres. Give us a good idea of the wind.
Tried too hard. Does make the distance, but it's out of play. Quarter time, Ormond 1 goal. Old Xaverians 4-3. Comments, Bernie Shee.
Well, as you pointed out, Pete, there's 21 points the difference. Maybe not quite enough for Ormond, although Zavs do often score pretty well into the wind. I wouldn't be surprised if the scores are fairly close at half-time, because even though it seems like a strong wind, a lot of amateur sides do struggle to score in the quarter that they kick with the wind, surprising as it may seem, and they often do run it up well into it. Had some good plays in that first quarter. Karen, although his possessions weren't exceptionally high, what he did was very clean, very direct. Marty Beattie did a pretty good job on Jobling. Mackay did a very good job at full back, more so when Shoecraft shifted back to his correct position, then Mackay did well down there. For Ormond, McCook did some good strong work in the centre of the ground. The back line collectively was pretty strong. Barnes doing a lot of the hard work. Carboon at centre half forward I thought was on top of Greetham, and he'll be a dangerous player this quarter, in the quarter that Zavs are going to be kicking into the wind. Ormond kicking with the wind. You can't give Carboon too many set shots for goal from within 45 or 50 metres in a quarter with the wind. He's one of the few amateur players that actually does kick very accurately from quite long distances. Shoecraft will also be dangerous this quarter because Ormond should be able to go fairly directly down the ground. Shoecraft's leading and Shoecraft's marking could be fairly damaging there. Well, who moved in there when Atkins went to the forward pocket? I think it may have been Mortensen. Who did you think it was, Pete?
Yeah, I thought it was Mortensen.
Yeah, Mortensen, and I didn't think he had a big bearing on it. Kingston did a reasonable job, although the Zavs player there, Gooding, has played him fairly close. And as I said earlier on, I thought that Callan was on top of Sutherland. Callan, as I said, didn't have high possession. Just about to get started now for the second quarter. Zavs 4-3, 27, Ormond 1 goal straight, 6 points. Zavs kicking to the Glen Huntley Road or northern end this quarter, Ormond kicking to that end, and it is favoured by a strong breeze.
Well, it must be. Noel Rundle just comes back from being on the arena and tells us it's certainly worth about 5 or 6 goals. So if that's the case, Ormond did quite well in that first quarter.
Just have to see what sort of a quarter Zavs play into the win. Certainly the strength of their win in the preliminary final was their ability to run the ball hard into the wind.
Rick Marks loose in defence at the moment. Who's lined up on he? Perhaps Ross Tonkin, who's on the defensive side of centre.
Mac Grummett loose on the back line, the same position as
Taylor
he played
high,
against
but Leon
Xaverians.
wins it. Knocks it down in the back for mine, and a free kick to Ormond. A good start. Gilmore quiet in that first quarter. Yes. Gilmore. High towards centre half forward. There are plenty up there. The punch away. Grummett playing in defence. Carburn goes in a Cook clear. Gets the snap at goal, but it's a point. Oh, a quick start by Ormond. Johnny Mackay, 19 years. Kicks in with a short one. It's not a good kick. Bounces nicely for Grummett. He does well. Gets away with a hand pass towards Atkins. The old Zav Cinnamon looks slow, chasing the ball, which allows his opponent in. A free kick against him. That's good play and getting in low and hard.
Did badly, Atkins. Important bit of play.
Craig Tonkin kicks towards centre half forward. Million up high and a mark to Carburn. He claims it and is paid. Million running under the ball, Bernie.
Yes, I think probably Greetham made an error. I think Greetham probably made an error too.
Kick from Carburn, straight through the middle from here. Beautiful kick, Dewey Carburn. His second goal for the game.
Well, certainly Carbur's going to be a danger player in this quarter with the wind. As I said in the quarter time summary, he is one player who from 45 and 50 metres out can kick long goals. It was a bad piece of play by Greetham. He should have still been there to spoil his centre half forward. He shouldn't have had to rely on his ruckman to do it.
A little bit of furore behind us as umpire Hardiman bounces again. Million on Taylor. Million again wins. Kick away wild. Allows Russell in. His kick goes down towards centre half forward and the move is Grummett. Hand pass swiftly away to Ricky Marks. The left foot towards Beattie. Too far for him and Barnes. A diving attempt. Drops it. Quick hands from Atkins to Peter Curtin. Breaks the tackle. Kicks in towards centre half forward. Tiernan under the ball. So too Callan coming onto it now. Goes on the right foot. Stephen Curtin one on his own here with his opponent and one. Oh no, well done David McDonald. Roves it towards Jobling. All on his own. Half-back flank outer side. Down the wing it goes towards Taylor. Taylor kicks the ball in towards half-forward flank. Shoecraft tries to get it away. Does well. Too much pace for Mackay. Good tackle. Marks in there. Hand pass towards Ma. Ma. One bounce in the centre. Towards the other side. The leading Dan. Hotly pursued by Tonkin. Forward comes well to Beattie. Barnes can't get to him and a long kick in towards full forward. You'll have to hurry, David McDonald. Peter Curtin, the snap. Out of play, right beside the point post.
Good play by Zavs, running the ball up hard in the wind. Very similar to their game against Parade. They look almost more dangerous at the quarter. They come up into the wind because they are prepared to run with the ball a bit.
Throw in. Steve Curtin gets the hit out. Forsyth a chance, doesn't grab it. Falls on the ball now. Hand pass very quickly to Nash. He's kicked the full one, out of bounds on the full and allows the Zabs in and Callan on his natural kicking foot will have the shot. Plays on, no one on the mark. Shot at goal. Don't tell me he's kicked a miracle. 1 point.
Very difficult spot to kick a goal from there, but good play by Callan. Nash, who can be quite a brilliant player, is also prone to some amazing mistakes, and that was another one of them there. Wasn't under a lot of pressure when he kicked out of bounds on the full.
Well, Zav's using Grummett loose in defence. He's all on his own, the centre of the ground at the moment.
Same position as he played last week against Parade.
Nash is kicked towards Forsyth, who marks unattended at centre half back. Lovely kick. Forsyth comes across the ground towards Craig Tonkin. Or could have marked. Pushes on, a free kick to Cox, and umpire Swale saw it.
Bad play by Brennan there. No need to give that free kick. Cox wasn't even going to get the ball. Brennan most untidy, just shoved him in the back.
Quite a good kick, Cox, for his size. That's a good one. right in towards the goal square. Grummett over the back, good mark, but Ross Tonkin roving brilliantly. Bad snap at goal, I'd say. Misses what he should have certainly kicked. 2-1 to 4-4. Zav's lead.
Ormond had 5 minutes with the win so far, kicked 1 goal, Pete.
But also notably, Zavs have been in a position to score as well. Johnny Mackay to the outer side with a drop punt, looking for Grummett. Finds him too. Grummett's kick goes even wider towards the wing on the outer side, and it's out of play on the centre wing outer side of the ground. There'll be a dogfight in front of us, Bernie. Throw in, centre wing. Million wins it. Dan Swale picks out one you could never understand. It's going to Beattie, who would be on good play at the moment for Zabs. It's a good kick too, strong kick. In towards centre half forward. Callan roving it brilliantly on the right foot towards Stephen Curtin. Nash in front does well. Barnes. Oh, he's been pushed at the psychological moment, but his kick hasn't gone out. Dan and David McDonald does well with the body.
David McDonald.
Long kick, big torpedo punt down that outer wing. Greetham on his own should no, it's going to bounce nicely. A real Johnny Beck with that one. Out of bounds, half forward flank, outer side. Ormond 14, Zabs 28. Million, Taylor again. Ball comes free, Paul Curtin spins out of the pack towards Gooding with a hand pass. Kingston, strong play, grabs it off him. Paul Curtin in again. Cox in on top of him. Good hands from Paul Curtin to Beattie. Up towards centre half forward. Good punch away by Mark McDonald. And a lovely tackle by Sutherland. Stephen Curtin in the centre of the ground. It's a kick back towards where he should be playing, and it's marked unopposed by Mark McDonald. He slips at a crucial stage. Gets his hand pass away towards Scotty Taylor. Scotty Taylor comes in towards the centre of the ground looking for Carboon. Greetham drops what he should never have. Quick hands to McCook. If Tonkin's got pace, there's a chance here for Ormond. The ball all wonderfully played on that occasion for the old Xaverians by Taylor, but Tonkin gets it again. Comes onto the left foot. No one to kick it to. He tries to get it back, and Greetham should mark on his own.
Excellent play by Brendan. Put good pressure on, forced the kick to Greetham.
Stabby kick by towards Tonkin again. Lots of hands up. Tonkin in front of us. The ball is out of bounds in front of our commentary position. Ormond 14, Zabs 28. 7.5 minutes gone. Million in ruck. Taylor, his opponent. No one gets an effectual. Cox a chance here. Gets a wild hand pass towards centre forward. 2 Ormond blokes up. Jervisoni does it well. Walks back into trouble. Got it high. And Swale saw it too. A long way out of Parliament rather.
Beautiful knock-on by Carboon there. Jervisoni made position and then got the knock too high. Might just make the distance from there, I'd say, with this wind.
50 metres out. Wind behind him. Should score. Long kick from Jervisoni is a goal. Marvellous goal. Andy goal, the woman. 3-2-20. Zabs 4-4-28.
Excellent play again by Carboon. Flew for a high ball, in fact, with his teammate Tonkin. Knocked it over the back to a dangerous position. Jervisoni gathered and was caught high, and from the result, the free kicked a long goal.
Nearly 9 minutes gone. Old Xaverians lead by 8 points. Taylor in ruck. Gets it out. Tonkin has hands on the ball. Tries to get it clear with a kick. He does. Kingston in there as well. Million gets the kick out of the centre. Barnes hits it clear. Forsyth on top of it. Gets a hand pass towards Kingston on this occasion. His kick wobbly out of the centre towards Jervisoni again and using the body well. Grummett on Shoecraft. Shoecraft got more pace than you'd expect. Jobling does well to help out. Back on the left foot. John Mackay marks on the chest. Had a great final series, Bernie, this boy.
Yes, good player, good steady player. Grummett doing well too in this quarter.
Long kick against the breeze towards Million. Got hands on it. Ball curtain very well. Mark's running on over to Dan. I don't think he was ready for it and gives Barnes a chance. Mars in there on this occasion. Speedy player. Up towards full forward. Zab's in with a chance here and a very good mark by Taylor. Well, Danny Corcoran's a real rap for this player, Bernie, and we can see why there. Atkins is going to be caught with the ball. An unnecessary hand pass, I thought.
Yes, I didn't think it was on, and certainly Atkins didn't help by being slow to get rid of it.
Gilmore, the recipient of this free kick. With inside Zab's 45 metres. Kicks towards the centre of the ground. Carboon the flyer. Greetham punches clear. Marks does well. McCook takes it away. Quick kick towards Sutherland. Callan in with him, and Sutherland got hands on it. Probably could have done better. Comes clear. McCook again. Dan with him. Tonkin over the top of him. McCook comes out of the centre. Lovely kick towards Kingston, and he's in position and should mark and get the free kick. And does. Shoecraft anxious to kick the ball, probably missed it.
Brilliant play by Tonkin into the centre of the ground there. For the tallest player there is the player that handled the low ball best, was able to fish it out to McCook, and then a lovely kick by McCook to Kingston to give Kingo a reasonably comfortable shot at goal to bring Ormond within 2 points. McCook just gone off there and Hill come on.
Well, Hill's going to play on the forward line, the big solid strong player. Paul Curtin picks him up. Kingston, 40 metres from goal. The angle suits him. Kick one from here right on half time in the second semi.
Certainly did. Should kick this too, Pete.
Kick at goal is a beauty, straight through the middle. And when they want the big goals, Ormond are producing them. 4-2 Ormond, 4-4 Zabs. 12 minutes gone.
Zabs clinging to a 2-point lead and will certainly need to score. Just a bad error just previously where the handball was given to Michael Atkins, possibly maybe cost them a goal. Turned out to be a fairly crucial piece of play.
Million again out the back. Bork jobbling a free on that occasion for holding the man, and Ormond doing well. Ball kick from jobbling towards Shoecraft. Got pushed and he's going to pay it. And certainly Shoecraft within kicking distance. Because if Carboon can kick the football, Shoecraft not far behind. Shoecraft from 45 metres, punts for goal. And the crowd love it. It's a beautiful kick from the Ormond full forward, and they take the lead for the first time in this game. 5-2-32 to 4-4-28. 14 minutes coming up.
Two fairly typical goals from Ormond there. Not the previous one, which was King O's, but the one from Carboon and the one from Shoecraft. They both do kick the ball long distances.
Can Zabs now keep within striking distance? Tonkin in ruck on Million. Over the back, Kingston out of the centre again. Ormond coming forward. Scotty Taylor up. Shoecraft in there, got hands on it. John Mackay gets it away. Tonkin off the ground. Good. Oh, here's a go. Bill with plenty of strength. And he's going to get a free kick. Well, twice in a matter of minutes, Johnny Mackay has given away free kicks. Bernie, what did you feel about that one?
Yeah, thought it was a definite free kick, Peter. Bad player Mackay's, I thought. Even got his arm too high, as well as holding him. Just thought he got his arm too high. Not good player Mackay at all.
You're getting plenty of advice on these frees at the moment, Bernie. Hill from close in. Stabs at goal. Might have missed it. He has. 1 point. Bad miss.
Well, they don't very often get a mention, but a lovely bit of goal umpiring there. The ball came slightly off the side of the boot, and he was terribly quick to get into position there and pick that, and I reckon it's only missed the goalpost by maybe a foot or so. Whoever that goal umpire is, it's certainly not Mick Murray.
Mark
Only
Sarong.
just judging by his size.
Mark Sarong, son of
Mark
former
Sarong.
Collingwood and North Melbourne legend Billy Sarong.
Sarong.
Oh, a poor kick out from Mackay. Jobling, anticipating beautifully. Should have done better with that. 1 point. Well, certainly at the moment, Ormond are on a roll.
Yeah, certainly well on top at this stage of the game, Pete.
Jay Mackay. Not sure which way to go. Good lead from me and ignored. He goes to the outer side with a much better kick. Up high was Taylor, got a hand on it, punched away towards Dan. Hasn't been in the game at all. Taylor, wonderful mobility for a big man. Centres the ball. Greetham, Gervasoni. In Dan on this occasion kicks it wide. Cox on his own on that outer wing. Oh, poor play. But Tonkin there to support. Back to Cox. In towards the centre to Taylor. Drops a juggling mark that has been paid.
Underrated player, I reckon. Tonkin does some good stuff. Lovely hand pass there again.
Long kick towards centre half forward. Sutherland the flyer, so was Shoecraft. Down to Gervasoni. Punches it clear. Brennan gets clear. Kicks towards this side of the ground. Reading it well. For old Zabs was Gooding. Keeps the ball in front of him. Good shepherd from Peter Curtin. Gooding was content to run the ball out of play. Right in front of us, although Craig Tonkin did make some ground on him. Good pressure there from the Ormond utility.
Not a bad play. Gooding looks as though he wouldn't mind a fight either. I reckon that country footy would stand him in good stead.
Tonkin and me, and Tonkin again. Lovely to Kingston. Gets around onto Jobling. Marvellous play, Ormond. And a big kick towards the goal square. Setting back as Grummett marks on his chest on a post. Chips in, ordinary looking kick will just stay in. Poor Curtin marks. Thought he went out of play. Has one bounce. He's going to get around Sutherland. Does it well. Oh, he might have run his full. He has. He just took the one step too many. Just the one too many. Very disappointing for him. And Carboon has taken the free. Looks a bit unsure of himself, but certainly he could kick the distance.
Yeah, it's a bad mistake by Curtin. He just kept running till the umpire blew the whistle, Pete. Might have been a bit unlucky the boundary umpire didn't call it out of bounds. We could have had a boundary throw in instead of Carboon having a shot at the goal.
Forsyth gives the lead, but Carboon fancies himself. Would be nearly 50 metres. Long kick towards goal. Off the boot, looks beautiful. He's kicked it. What a beautiful goal, Bertie. Nearly the best kick in VAFA, I'd suggest, Dewey Carboon.
Yes, I think you're right there, Peter. It certainly is a very, very good kick.
And played in E section last year, so a good recruiting coup by Ormond to bring him up into their senior side. Has kicked 3 goals to date.
Yeah, he's been a good player. Certainly not Greetham's fault there, but I thought he's been on top of Greetham for most of the day.
Good difference in scoreboards. I like the 6-4. Ormond 4-4. Controversy there, Peter. I just wonder whether, in fact, it was Carboon's kick. There might have been another Ormond player closer to the ball. Probably good play by Ormond, Smoke, but Cox was prepared to give it to the big kicker. Zabs need a goal. And a free kick out of the centre goes to Ma. Ironical cheers from the Zabs supporters, but you're second to the ball, you don't get many frees. Ma towards half forward. Atkins tries to trap it in. David McDonald, lovely hand pass. Poor allows Mortensen in his kick towards half forward. David McDonald all by himself. The tumbling mark gets up quickly to play on. There's Sutherland loose here on the wing. The kick doesn't go his way. Carboon again. And takes a great mark with a gentle nudge out on Greetham. And I wonder whether Grummett will have to be moved onto him. Quick hand pass to Forsyth. Through the centre with a drop punt towards full forward. Taylor up high and marks. Play on, the umpire said. Well, Ricky marks on top of the ball. Out towards Greetham. Greetham in towards Johnny Mackay. John Mackay over to Gooding. Gooding gets Zabs clear towards half forward. And settling back there, Barnes. Peter Curtin tries a one-hander. But Barnes gets a free kick for in the face.
The reason he went for it one hand, he had the other hand in Barney's face.
Indeed.
Decision there by Cameron Swale.
Barnes back towards centre half forward. Shoecraft up high. Couldn't mark. Oh, a bad miss to Jobling by Beattie. Jobling, a huge bomb out of the centre, and he's kicked one every bit of 50 metres, and Ormond doing as they like at the moment. Jobling, marvellous goal.
Quite right. quite right, Pete. It was a lovely kick by Jobling. The kicking by Ormond's been very telling this quarter.
Yes, not only in accuracy, but in, I'd suggest, Bernie, in penetration and length.
Yes, certainly.
19 and a half minutes gone. Ormond 7-4, Zabs 4-4. And the old Xaverians have only managed one behind for the quarter. Ormond 6-4. A free out of the centre goes to Paul Curtin. And Zabs must lift. He goes out wide. David McDonald in front and marks splendidly. And a marvellous second half of this A-section season. Kicks long, a punch away. Comes to Jobling, running well. Beattie giving him a bit of space at the moment. Jobling back on the left foot. Shoecraft in front, punched away by Mackay's good play. Zabs at the foot of the ball. Ricky Marks slow in getting it. His kick goes towards, and Forsyth in front does well. Gets him onto his feet quickly. Back towards Gervasoni, and a very good mark from the Ormond half forward. And they're certainly on top on the forward line at the moment.
He's a good mark, Gervasoni. They are a very good marking side, Ormond. Even their medium-sized players, and Gervasoni's one of them, and Sutherland's another, are particularly strong marks for guys of their size. Even though that wasn't an overhead mark, Gervasoni does have a good idea of approaching a mark.
40 metres out. Kicks. Another glorious kick at goal. Umpire Sarong likes it. 1 point. 1-1 for the quarter from Gervasoni. And Clavac looks like being called onto the ground. The 21-minute mark. I think some of the Zabs defenders are a little bit inexperienced at the moment and showing out, Bernie.
Yes, maybe that is the case. Mackay's been disappointing on a couple of occasions. It's a Zabs mark.
From behind, Brother David from here. No, it's, yes, Brother David. A quick hand pass away to Ricky Marks. He'll have to hurry. Playing D-grade footy there. Paul Curtin gets them out of trouble. Back to Atkins, and he's been quiet.
Very quiet.
Kicks in towards the centre of the ground. Ross Tonkin probably could have Cox at the foot of the ball. Little left foot chip. Craig Tonkin in front. In front of Brennan. Would have nearly got 50, but lovely kick towards Shoecraft. John Mackay, good punch. Kingston's going to get onto this one. Comes on the left foot. Hand passes to Calhoun. Traps it well. Runs a full circle. Chips one in towards Cox. Cox misses what he should never have. Has a left foot snap at goal though, and it looks the wrong side.
Excellent play by Carb. Excellent play by Carboon again. Gathered the ball well, brought the handball back inside. He's a lovely player, Carboon. Good when the ball hits the ground for someone that's as tall as he is. And in the meantime, Peter Curtin's come off the ball. Stephen Curtin, sorry, the full forward, Stephen Curtin's off. Ball hasn't been down there much this quarter.
Beattie, clear on the outer side. Hand pass on to Atkins. Not a good one. Barnes in there. Content to push it out if he can. Paul Curtin picks up. Brilliantly tackled for Ormond by David McDonald. And the umpire's allowed to be thrown in.
Never seen anyone have as big a swing at their forehand drives as Barney does. He'd be no good on a grass court, Pete.
Tonkin gets it away. Beattie in there, gets it high, but gets out of trouble with a poor looking kick towards half forward. Zabs really breaking down up here at the moment. Barnes hits it clear. Out wide. Leading for Zabs. Atkins gets it now. Scrambly play and desperate play, but it's out on the full from Atkins. Ross Tonkin will take the free.
Grummett's gone on to Carboon.
Well, it had to be done.
Yes, and that briefed them on to Scotty Taylor.
The other thing is that Sutherland has done well on Callan this quarter, I think. Or Taylor up early and free kick against him.
Yeah, definite free kick against Taylor. Should have been one against Sutherland earlier where he missed his run by about 5 minutes.
David Mackay takes the free, kicks up towards centre half forward, and in front Ross Tonkin, playing his 4th senior game for the year. Tonkin back towards centre half forward and Carboon. Grummett now on him, foot of the ground. Here's a chance for Callan. The ball doesn't quite come up for him, but Sutherland does well to get back. Hill in there for Ormond. Dives on top of it. Hits it clear. Callan again. Umpire Swale says, "I'll bounce."
Sutherland should have run through Callan when he had to come back for the ball that just sat up. Would have been quite clean. Should have just dipped his shoulder and run right into him there. Here's one play be worth slowing down.
Carboon in ruck. Hits it. Million grabs his own hit out. Barnes in front. Well, good play from Taylor. Gets it wide towards Greetham. Bounces awkwardly. Traps it well. Left foot deeper into that pocket's not where they want to go. Peter Curtin, a diving mark just outside 45, and he's been moved to full forward on Nash. Comes in now, quickly kicks in towards goal. Zabs need a mark here, and Clavac's found it for them too. A very good mark from Tony Clavac.
Beautiful kick by Curtin too. Ball travelled quickly through the air, gave Clavac a chance to use the few yards that he had up his sleeve, even though he hasn't got sleeves on.
It's probably their second shot at goal for the quarter. Ormond about to make a change. McCook back on, Sutherland off. But Zabs need a goal. Clavac probably 30 metres out, directly in front, kicking against the breeze. 20 into time on. Clavac taking his time, kicks at goal, a shocking kick. It goes out of bounds on the full, much to the delight of the large Ormond crowd at that end of the ground.
Important miss by Clavac, never looked like kicking. He had to get more pace in his run-up when he was kicking into the wind.
Lead from Hill out wide, Nash ignores it.
Can't kick it there, Pete. He's got to kick over the top of his mark.
Unless it was a banana, Bernie. Greetham up high against Tonkin. Comes to ground. Danny Marr been quiet this quarter. Left foots it back into the pocket. Peter Curtin. Nash. Nash recovers well. Nobody down for Zabs. Cox arrives. Hand passes it away towards Hill. Hill brings it out this side. Well tackled though by Zabs. Dermot down in there. Russell went in hard with the body. Gets the ball away and kicks it down towards our side of the ground here. Leading in the race is going to be Paul Curtin, who traps it very well. Kingston just gets to him. Beatty comes clear. Can he get around? Lets the ball go and Kingston kicks it out. The umpire hard him and says it's holding the man.
Super bit of play by Russell there before. First time that Zabs have looked like they might have got a forward thrust going, and Godfrey Russell really committed his body to the ball. Excellent bit of play, although he has been a quiet player today.
Beatty in forward, Cox a quick kick away, back towards Beatty again. High tackle from Hill, and he's going to be paid the free. Beatty doing what he can to lift the old Zabs at this stage. Another ordinary kick from Beatty. Oh, it goes too high, allows Clavac a chance again, but he's not that interested in bending over. Out of play. Within 45 metres from goal for Zabs. Get out, comes to Marr. Marr screws it back over the shoulder, looking for Clavac again, and David McDonald. Peter Curtin. Good tackle by Mark McDonald. Play on, the umpire says. Forsyth kicks it clear. Right across goal. Leading in the race, David McDonald. Jobling is with him, and Greetham. In towards centre again to the leading Gervasoni, and he marks splendidly. Looks like he's hurt himself, Byrne.
Yes, does. Yeah, had to dive pretty low forward. Did it well, but looks like he might have just tucked his shoulder in underneath him. Could be hurt there, Pete. Yeah.
Calling for the stretcher. Trainers rather. Craig Tonkin will take the kick, or is it Gilmore?
Yeah, the only bloke that's likely to need the stretcher is the trainer, I think, just at this stage, Pete. Who's taking the kick?
Gilmore takes the kick out towards half forward. Carboon in the lead. Good punch from Grummett. Comes clear towards Marr. He runs straight through the centre, but the kick goes nowhere except to the Ormond captain, Barnes. Barnes brings the ball back towards Carboon. No one there again. Grummett marks, kicks hurriedly, and Barnes will mark again. It's comedy of football, this. Barnes now goes a different way. Outer side of the ground with a punt kick. Jobling at centre half forward for Ormond. Looking for leads. Jobling a short stab pass. Kingston fell but still marks and gets cleaned up by Beatty. But he's strong enough, and a 50-metre penalty against Beatty will put Kingston on the goal line.
I think Gooding's still picking up Kingston, but he certainly doesn't seem to be able to get near him when Kingston sneaks down into that forward line.
Kingston into Glen Huntly Road. New ball required. Ormond 8-4, 8-6. Old Zabs 4-4. And Smokey said it could be a 7-goal quarter, and he looks right.
Yes, he does look right, although he said it'd be an 8-goal quarter. He's still barracking for one.
And the emergency umpire, Gervasoni off. Sutherland back. New football. Here it comes back. Shoecraft. Indeed. Meehan and Taylor. Meehan gets it clear. Oh, bad drop at that stage for Ormond. Rather Old Zabs, but a free kick going to Mortensen in the centre of the ground. Very crowded Old Zabs forward line, Bernie.
Yeah, it's very slow getting the ball down there. It's always going to be crowded then.
Dermy Dan in there. It's been quiet and they really need some running from him.
Certainly has been disappointing, Dermot Dan. Dermot Dan and Mike Atkins will be two of the disappointing players for Zabs. Particularly this quarter into the wind where they wanted a bit of run and a bit of handball to
Forsyth.
get it moving.
Bernie has given a free away. Perhaps a technical one, and Marr has the kick. 30 minutes gone. 40 metres out from goal. Torpedo punt towards the goal square. High flyers needed. Or many hands on it, and Nash is happy to run it through for a single. Nash comes out wide towards Ross Tonkin. It's not a very good kick, and Taylor drops what he should never have missed, and Tonkin does well to wound up with the kick in towards the centre of the ground. Comes over the top. Here's some good play. Here allows Russell, all on his own. Lovely shepherd by Tim Hill. Russell within distance, spears at goal, and has missed it.
Poor player Mortensen in the middle of the ground, didn't cover the ball at all and allowed it to spill out there towards Russell, and missed what probably he should have kicked. Kingston having a spell down on the full forward line just at the moment. Took a fairly heavy knock from Marty Beattie before.
Mackay back into play. Carburn in front, has a punch clear. Out of play in the forward pocket for Ormond. 31.5 minutes gone. And a handy 26-point lead. Half-time siren blows, 8-7. Ormond 8-7, Old Zabs 4-5. Comments, Bernie Shee.
Yeah, well, it was an excellent quarter by Ormond there, Peter. What did they kick? 7 goals, 7 for the quarter. 7 goals, 7 for the quarter, was it? Certainly the marking players did a lot of damage down on the forward line there. Shoecraft got one. The other fella got a couple. That was Carburn at centre half forward. Kingston kicked 2. The worst point from Xavier's point of view was they didn't look damaging at all running into the wind. Just didn't run enough. Also under pressure, didn't handle the ball cleanly enough. You've got to handle the ball more times than normal to run the ball up into the wind. So a really disappointing quarter for Zabs, and I think, as you said, what do we got, Pete? About a 26-point lead, and certainly that's a handy lead, and I would think in these conditions ought to be a winning lead for Ormond. Good players for Ormond. David McDonald's been really solid on the back line. Barnes also been solid on the back line, very close to their best player. Mark McDonald has made almost no mistakes at centre half back. Sutherland and Russell haven't done a lot. Kingston's been good on the wing as well as kicking his 2 goals. Carboon's been very dangerous. Scotty Taylor bits and pieces. Gervasoni the same. Just dropped in, I think, for 1 goal, was it, Pete, or 2 to Gervasoni?
1-1.
Kicked 1 goal. McCook's done a lot of good work. Shoecraft been a little bit quiet. Cox hasn't done all that much. Tonkin's done some excellent work. Not high possessions, but what he does is very clean and does count. A bit the same with Jobling. He'd be a bit disappointed with the number of possessions he's had, but he has actually done a bit of damage when he has got hold of the ball, including an extremely long goal in that quarter. Gilmore's been relatively quiet. Hill, not a lot from him, and Tonkin hasn't been on the ground all that much. As far as the Zabs go, John Mackay started very well, but made a couple of bad errors that quarter. Michael Brennan's been fairly steady, came back on after injury. David Mackay, he's done bits and pieces. Mortensen a little bit disappointing. Greetham, I thought, was badly beaten by Carboon. Particularly the quarter with the wind. Should have played him from behind and had the last jump at him, which is what Mac Grummett did towards the latter part of the quarter. Rick Mark's been reasonable. Callum died out of the game a bit that quarter. I think Peter said that Sutherland went on to him. I think that's probably correct, but certainly Callum was a bit quiet. Michael Atkins probably the major disappointment from the point of view of Zabs, but hopefully Mick can get into it in the second half. Also, as I mentioned, Dermot Dan's also been pretty quiet. Paul Curtin's tried hard. Peter Curtin's tried hard also without a lot of coming from it. Mac Grummett played well in that quarter when he was playing loose man on the back line. Klavac added a little bit of life when he came to the forward line, although he missed a goal that could have been fairly important. Marty Beattie was the one that actually did give them some chance early in that quarter, but Zav's 50. Centre bounce, Peter.
Cameron Swale. Leonin gets it away. Cox, left foot forward. Play Gooding now in defence. Atkins a kick. Cowboy caught the ball, but he gets a free for holding the ball.
Couldn't agree with that decision there. The tackle made the ball spill out. The fella let him go as soon as he could. Poor decision.
Watch the kick. Woof. Punch clear by Johnny Mackay. 2 Ormond blokes at the first. Attempted shot by Scotty Taylor is out on the full. Ricky Marks with the ball. No, Taylor.
It'd be nice to see Zavs fight it right out here and see if they can't make some sort of game of it in the last quarter.
Well, Danny Cookman swung his side around when we noticed Taylor in defence. Peter Curtin a good mark. Good hand pass away. Lovely tackle on Mortensen by Taylor. Peter Curtin's got to go again. Gets a long hand pass back towards Callan. Has been Ricky Marks caught. Holding the ball. And Sutherland, who's come into the game, I believe, since half-time, with the free. Stupid play by Beattie.
That's a real problem with the rule. That sort of infringement's just not worth a 50 yards. But I suppose they've seen fit to do it in league footy, and now they've decided to do it in amateur football. Cannot possibly see that sort of infringement is worth bringing someone from about 80 yards out of goal to about 15 yards out of goal.
It probably isn't, Bernie, but it was undisciplined play by Beattie.
I'm not disagreeing with that. Not disagreeing with that. I just think that the penalty is much bigger than the small infringement warrants.
Sutherland from close in, kicks for goal and puts it through. Zav's players claiming they touched it. Mackay.
Beattie off and Dermot Dan on. I'm not quite sure whether that was because of the 50-metre infringement or not. I think he is limping a bit and not all that happy with what some people on the wrong side of the fence have had to say to him. Being one of the Zavs players that's really put in today, Marty Beattie. Unfortunate that he made that mistake at that stage of the game.
The goal umpire earning the wrath of a few old Zav supporters down there, but 2 members of the law there to keep everything in hand. Lovely hit out by Millian. Strong tackle from Cox. Atkins holding the ball against the Xaverian centreman.
It's a good decision. Atkins happy to go to ground with the ball, and good decision. Cox quiet in the first half, excellent in the third quarter, and has started well in the last quarter.
Spears a pass to the leading Shoecraft, who marks splendidly, well within kicking distance. Ormond players, Bernie, that were quiet here have certainly come into the game since quarter time.
Yes, well, Ormond have fairly had a bad play, and I guess that's what tends to happen in games like this.
Furious kick for goal, and he's put it through, and that is that. Well, 12 Ormond, 7-8 Old Xaverians.
34-point lead at the 4-minute mark of the final quarter, and as I said, it'd be nice to see Zavs fight it out. They've got a good band of supporters here. They've obviously worked very hard after losing players from last season to even get to this second spot. It'd be a shame to see them get really, really crunched in this last quarter.
Tonkin in ruck, hits it down, Jobling. Free kick, Zavs playing the man a bit at the moment, Bernie.
Yes, fairly frustrated, I think. Probably realise that it's most unlikely to win the game, almost impossible at this stage, unless Ormond managed to whip 19 players on the ground, but I doubt MacArthur Allen will try that at this stage of the season.
So, Ross Tonkin at centre field. Long kick out wide. Gervasoni and Marks. Marks drops it. Good shepherd, John Mackay. The chip pass to Paul Curtin. Marks back in again. Good hand pass away to the running Mortensen. Long hand pass further upfield to Taylor. Back towards the centre, towards Peter Curtin. Cox over the top and claims the mark. Play on, the umpires say. Jobbling in the centre, but now he finds a free kick. Almost about to play advantage. And the free kick to Peter Curtin. What for, Byrne?
Over the shoulder. Just after that incident in the mark, Cox just fell across his shoulder. A bit lucky, I reckon.
Poor kick from Peter Curtin. Barnes should have marked it. Free kick and then calls the advantage to Tonkin. That man again kicks and Taylor up very high. Just couldn't quite hold it, but recovery fantastic. Hand pass to McCook. Quickly on foot to Carboon all on his own. And they've got Brockleys in there, recovers well. And solid and wonderful play in defence for Old Xaverians by Greetham. And that was very ordinary play by Carboon.
Come on, Mac! Let's go, Mac!
No one wanted to go for it except Zabs. Taken away by Greetham, who's almost their best player, Byrne. Good hand pass quickly on. Caught. Kingston back in there. Through goes Atkins. Handball quickly to Greetham. Greetham again with a big kick towards the wing position. Grummett up high. David McDonald hands on ball. Forsyth will get one. They're certainly second of the ball at the moment, Zabs. Into Gervasoni, unmarked. Long kick at goal is a beautiful kick. And it's through. Touched on the line. And that's happened twice to Ormond in this game. Pressure from the crowd. What do you think, Byrne?
Ironic cheers for the goal umpire, and I suspect they're probably fairly well deserved. I don't think that's umpire so wrong down there, is it?
No,
Pete?
an error there. Barry Farrow earning the wrath.
Holding the ball.
Danny Corcoran whacking the coach's bench with frustration. You can see this game slipped away from him. Tonkin again, hit out. Mortensen looks a bit slow and happy to run the ball out of play. Zav's younger blokes trying to show a bit of strength, but it's too late for that, Byrne.
Oh yes, they're struggling at this stage, just playing the game out.
Meehan does well with the left hand. Good hand pass away towards Dan.
Been a reasonable player to Brennan. Battled hard in the back pocket. Did well early, got a heavy knock, come back on. One of the Zavs players that can hold his head pretty high. Dermot Dan, who's been a great kick getter in the finals, been very quiet today and one of the disappointing players for Zavs. McGrummett there at centre half forward, been beaten by Mark McDonald, but has at least tried pretty hard, Mac.
He had a reasonable third quarter, Bernie.
Not a bad third quarter, not a bad second quarter either, but he wasn't at centre half forward. Peter Curtin throws a tunnel ball to Tiernan.
There's just nobody up here for them to kick to. Barnes in front again, pushed in the back, always in front of his man, and takes the free kick. Interchange here, Hill off, Craig Tonkin on. Now towards Godfrey Russell. And stupid play by Paul Curtin. Allows a free kick upfield. Gervasoni wants it, but I think Carboon will get it. Either could kick the distance, Byrne.
Yes, they're both long kickers of the ball. Silly free kick, but as I said, Zavs are particularly frustrated at this stage of the game. Disappointing to go this far through the season. Put up a really terrific effort to win the preliminary final, to get into the grand final, and then be so soundly beaten.
Gervasoni from 52.5 metres gets in underneath that one, the edge of the square, and Taylor Mackay at the back chips it out. Oh, poor kick under pressure, and McCook gets the resultant free and is capable of kicking it.
And that was kicked out of bounds on the full, nowhere near the Bow Repair sign, Peter.
And Stephen McCook.
Great man, the Bow Repair. This telecast, of course, is going worldwide, so it could really boost the Bow Repair sales.
He's found a free kick in the middle of all that, and it goes to David
Free kick to
Mackay.
the goal umpire. No, it's not. No, most unlikely that that'd be a free kick to a forward. No, you've got to kick over your mark once you've stepped behind that line.
Drummond out here calling for it.
And a chance.
Really go for it. Peter Curtin dives in on top of it. Gervasoni. Hardiman will bounce. 45-metre line for Ormond. And they lead 12-13-85 to 7-8-50. 10 minutes into the A section, last quarter of this grand final. Interchange, Paul Curtin off and Beatty on, and no doubt Bernie for that giveaway freeze.
Yes, quite right. Yeah, they're swapping places. The 250-metre. Got one down ground, give a 150-metre penalty.
Taylor at the back. Good play, Mackay. Oh, in the back there for mine. Play on, he says. Oh, Scotty Taylor doesn't know how to snap it. Then punched away. Russell in there, but he taps it just wide of the goals from behind. Gooding started off well, then been quiet, kicks away with an ordinary kick, and there's a man that's in the best 2 or 3 on the ground. Russell
Well, he
Tonkin.
hasn't had a lot of stats, but I just think a lot of his work is very effective. So he's have a great idea where players are around him. Very intelligent player.
Kicks it straight to an opponent. Across the ground, 50 marks, leading in the race for the ball with Shoecraft. Picks it up, Shoecraft right with him, good tackle, Jobling, the interceptor, does well. His kick off the side of the boot, and it's developed into a pretty lacklustre game now. McCook tries to repeat his 1987 grand final performance.
Good call there, Peter. Good call. Sounded like Peter Land. He picked it up from that long ago.
Mackay's wobbly punt kick. And once again, Ross Tonkin. Got plenty of leads. $50 metres out. Big drop punt to the edge of the square. They're all up. Taylor hands on ball. Punch through by Mortons. Mackay, better kick out outside towards Grummett. Good punch away by Sutherland. Carburn with a bit of pace. Beatty caught as he kicks. And Ormond plays everywhere. Stephen McCook, quick hand pass. Gets a free kick for too high. Play on Forsyth, the half-back, has a shot on goal. Misses. Short one by Mackay, finds Atkins. Deep in that back pocket. Good kick to Marks. Ormond a bit casual at the moment. Marks into the centre. Greetham a good mark from behind. And he's been moved into the forward line to try and lift them. Wide handball to Gooding. Puts him under all sorts of pressure. He does well and gets out of it. Gives it back to Greetham. Doesn't know where to go. Left foot wobbly punt towards centre half forward. No crummers. Yes, Callan. First kick for a while. Stephen Curtin on his own. And Marks within 20 metres, Burn.
He's pretty close, so that'll be interesting to see. He's definitely not a good kick into the wind, Stephen Curtin. Gets under the ball a lot and was even noticeable last week that he really does struggle with his into the wind kicking.
So Stephen Curtin about to kick for goal and perhaps give that respectability that Byrne was talking about earlier. Awkward looking kick, but it's a goal. His third, and that's not a bad day.
No, it hasn't been down there a lot, Pete. And as you say, at least it doesn't make it look an absolute cakewalk. Ormond 12-15, 87. Zavs 7-8-50. No, they haven't put that goal up yet. Thank you, Smokey. 8 goals, 8, 56.
Interesting. Ormond's first goal against the Breeze. Zab's first goal against the Breeze. Ball comes out to Cox, who kicks Ormond forward again. David Mackay and Taylor, neither mark it. Shoecraft, she's got some pace, hooks one back over the shoulder, looks at like it. I think it's okay. Oh, touched again for the third time. So Ormond, was a great snap from Shoecraft. Grummett now at fullback, kicks in. At the back of the pack, Atkins, the handball on to Peter Curtin. Oh, wide hand pass towards Dean, nowhere to go. A hurried kick and David McDonald in the way. If it's not David, it's Mark. Or it's Barnes. And they've been a great halfback line. Lovely kick towards Carburn, over the back as Grummett, comes to Tonkin clear. A long hand pass to Kingston, who made great position on 45. Gooding brings him down as he kicks it. Free kick being pulled out of that. Bernie, did you pick it?
Yeah, too high there. Free kick to the other Mackay.
Johnny.
David.
You're right.
And he's played a pretty good game, David Mackay, too.
Free kick to Meehan. Oh, he tries to kick. Lucky to get out of that one. Gives it again to David Mackay. But you can't hand pass from a free, Bernie. Back it comes.
It's an interesting one because he did try to kick it and missed it with his foot.
But he paid the free kick, I think.
He did try to kick it.
I don't think it was. I think it was the right decision. Exactly. Let's have a look at that on the board. Lunches and refreshments. Swale's quite correct, despite the controversy in the box.
Well, it's one of the few things of interest at this stage. He did swing his boot at it. He may have just caught it with a toenail there and then got his hand pass out of it.
Tonkin wins the hit out anyway. It comes to Beattie, who kicks out towards the...
Brennan.
Brennan, thank you. I think it'll beat them out of bounds. It does. Sutherland full bore in there. Kellen happy for it to go out.
This is cool.
Good hit out Meehan to Callan. Hand pass to Atkins. Lovely little one onto Mortensen again, but rushed out of bounds by Sutherland. So right in front of our broadcasting position. To Cox. Nice hand pass. Gets one in the mouth. The umpires have picked it up. Hasn't been seen, except by Smokey. Quickly played on. The kick's a bad one from Gervasoni. Johnny Mackay.
From David Mackay. Tonkin.
And Ross Tonkin, his third or fourth mark for this quarter. Once again, straight back to Mackay, and he and Ross Tonkin have had a field day. Ricky Marks butters up with a handball into Peter Curtin. His kick wide, looking for Beattie, and he takes a good running mark. Sees Atkins in the centre, but Forsyth there to intercept, but Atkins will be paid. Lucky Burn?
No, super mark. That was in a terrible position. Held the guy with his body. Good decision by the ump.
In towards the leading Stephen Curtin, flies high, got the hands on it. Hand pass on or Beattie, too slow. Tiernan in there on top of it, flicks it over to Curtin, or does well. There's a snap. Kick clear nicely there by David McDonald again. .32 points the difference. 18.5 minutes gone. Stephen Curtin, the kick in towards full forward. No one can mark it.
Paid the mark, Pete.
He did. Forsyth again, had a good game. Right across goal to the unmarked Nash. Round one bounce. Lovely looking kick to Jobling. Tonkin calls it. Up high, couldn't mark it, over the back. Ross Tonkin using great Brazilian skills. Boots it in towards Shoecraft. Got underneath it a bit. Gervasoni can snap. A lovely snap at goal. Might have missed it. Just too much. 1 point.
certainly the most talented group of tall players I've seen in amateur football for a long while. You can run all the way down the ground from David McDonald to his brother Mark McDonald, to Carboon at centre half forward, to Shoecraft, Tonkin and Taylor in the run. For tall players, they're very, very mobile. It's not often that you get that players as good as that.
And most of them have got good skills.
Very, very skillful, very balanced for fellas that are as tall as that. And that's one of the reasons that Ormond are a hell of a good side.
Makes you wonder, Bernie, how the Carnival selectors could leave a player like Mark McDonald out of the side this year. Well,
certainly they've been the best of the sides during the year, even though they didn't end up what we like to call minor premiers. They did finish with a percentage of almost 160, which is a hell of a percentage at the end of an A-grade season. They've been an outstanding team, and they've shown today
a chance for Zavs through Peter Curtin. His snap for goal was missed after some good play by Tiernan on that outer wing. Momentarily off the air after a heavy blow to the head. .25 for the last quarter, Ormond, as Nash runs away from again. Stephen Curtin pushes his opponent afterwards. The Ormond crowd love it, and the free downfield goes to Kingston.
Well, that makes it 1-1 for the Curtins this quarter. That's 3 free kicks downfield, 1 against each of the Curtins, as they're very disappointed with Dav's performance for the day. Push in the back.
Ross Tonkin again. And Bernie was just talking about this play. And the interesting thing about Tonkin, Bernie, he played the opening game of the season, missed the next 17, played the last home game and the 2 finals. It's the way, it's the Croswell style of football. Over the back to Grummett. Out wide looking for Greetham. Gilmore, who's been quiet today but done a job, gets a good hand pass to Russell, who on the run inside has a blaze away, and 1 point. 2-6 for the quarter. Looking at the stats, Russell 2 points for today and has had a pretty workmanlike game, I believe, on his wing.
Yeah, it's good description, I reckon, Pete. Just workmanlike. Not a huge influence on the game, but done a lot of strong things.
Good kick out towards brother David. He can't mark. Dan, one of his few possessions, goes in towards the centre. Ricky Marks to Marr. Good tackle, Ross Tonkin. Marks gets it clear. Peter Curtin underneath this one and takes a lovely mark. Lovely hand pass on to Dan. Comes up for him well. Another good hand pass to Beattie. Gets around Barnes. Has a shot on goal and has kicked pretty well. I think it's there. No, Nash saves on the line. 1 point.
Almost marked by the goal umpire there. Came out to the middle of the goal square and almost took a big grab.
Well, that's poetic justice, because Ormond have had 2 or 3 of those in the last half. Looking for Meehan. Unattended. Atkins marks after Sutherland flew far too early. Atkins kick towards Dan. Misses again. In hard for Ormond. Marr gets the ball further forward. Stephen Curtin marks. And Bernie, a very difficult pocket.
Certainly is a difficult pocket. Might be worth running through some of the Ormond players, Pete, just while Stephen Curtin lines up this shot at goal. From the back line, David McDonald's played an excellent game, been steady, I'd say almost not made a mistake all day. It's not the best game I've ever seen Brad Nash play. He's an excellent amateur player. But today he has made a few errors. The little fella best in the back pocket, he's also been solid. But the best of that full-back line will be David McDonald. Half-back line has been absolutely impassable. Mark McDonald, Barnes and Forsyth have been excellent across the half-back line. I'd say they've almost been their best 3 players. That line has just been so steady. Kingston dangerous on the wing. Godfrey Russell done some steady things. Sutherland been better in the second half.
Well, while Bernie was summing up then, Bronx cheers for Stephen Curtin, kicked out on the full. The ball came down the outer side, was transferred into the centre where Joblin kicked a long goal after a one-on-one battle between Johnny Mackay and Shoecraft. Bit of a shivering match, and the umpire allowed the goal to stand. Ormond's 13,
Joblin's second.
13-18 Ormond, 96 Zavs, 8-10, 58.
In just on time on. And so, Ormond, let's go through the rest of those players, Bern.
Gervasoni's done some good work, a couple of long goals, I think, from the half-forward line. One or two, I'm not certain of that. Caboon very telling. When the game was there for the taking, Caboon was excellent in the second quarter. Scott Taylor, I thought he played well at half-time. I thought he was reasonable at half-time, but been excellent in the second half. McCook, I thought, did well early also when the game was in the balance. Shoecraft's done his share of hard work. Cox has been excellent in the second half of the game. Ross Tonkin, we've spoken about during the call. His work's always very telling. Jobling also, a couple of terrific goals. Hasn't been as big an influence as we might hope, but as often happens, the best players get tagged out of the game. Gilmore done some solid work. Hill also being used in and off the bench, sometimes with McCook. He's done some strong work. And Craig Tonkin also kicked a good goal in the third quarter to really assert Ormond's superiority at that stage. The game now developing into a bit of a scramble.
And look at this silly Gooding running in.
But all credit to Mike MacArthur-Allen. All credit to Mike MacArthur-Allen and to the Ormond side. They're an exceptionally strong amateur side, very tall, mobile. Their tall players are very mobile. Free kick being given here now. Umpire Cherry trying to sort things out here, trying to get the ball moving, which is a good idea. But unfortunately, Scotty decided that he'd crash through little Manny Ma there. And it didn't break it up as quickly as he wanted to.
Well, stupid play by Ma, really it is at this stage of the game. 26.5 minutes gone. Well, Zav's really throwing something into this last 5 minutes, but
again, Barnes has been just superb.
Russell, super kick out there. Oh, he eludes Shoecraft. Johnny Mackay breaks a tackle. Over to Mortensen. Paul Curtin kicks out towards us again. Sutherland working hard. Fell over at the crucial stage. Shows great skill to get up. Oh, marvellous skills. And a good hand pass. Forsyth doing as he likes at the moment. Very cool customer. Cox in the chance here. Too high for him. Oh, wonderful play. McCook has the shot from the boundary this year. Out of bounds.
Given that Ormond have had a huge amount of the play, for the day, they're still at this stage only 5 goals, 8 in front, so some credit certainly got to be given to the backs of the Xavier side. And the full-back line, the two Mackays, David Mackay, John Mackay and Michael Brennan have all worked very hard across that full-back line, and I'd suggest that the 3 of them would be in the Zav's best 6 players. Ricky Marks has battled hard without being as effective as he's been in the earlier finals. Jeff Greetham tried hard after being beaten by Caboon, particularly in the second quarter.
McCook has kicked a sensational goal from the forward pocket here, reminiscent of his volley in the 1987 final, and just stamps him as a class player.
Anthony Cannon for Zavs played it well early in the start of the game. Michael Atkins has been better in the second half. Paul Curtin has probably been no better than steady for the day. Anthony Klavac added a little bit of life when he first came on. Mac Grummett's tried hard despite the last goal by McCook. Peter Curtin's also tried hard. Stephen Curtin, 3 or 4 goals. Marty Beattie, one of the few players that played at all well in the first half for Zavs. Dave Taylor's also tried hard. Laurie Meehan battled on the ruck. Dermot Down will be disappointed with his game. Danny Marr being impetuous. Jack Tiernan worked pretty hard when he came on. Graham Gooding did well early on Phil Kingston, but has died out of the game as it's gone on. But certainly Ormond have been too strong all day and lead 14-18, 102 to Old Zavs 8-10, 58 at the 29-minute mark. I think their superiority around the ground hasn't really been reflected in the scoring. They really have been by far the better side, the best side in amateur football for the year, despite the fact that Parade finished on top, and certainly well deserved this grand final win.
Well, I think that's well summed up from Bernie Shee. 29 minutes, 35 seconds into the game. Nash out to the unmarked Mark McDonald. Taking his time. thinking about tonight's celebrations, and kicks down towards the grandstand on the side of the ground. Atkins up high, and this stage of the game, that's a pretty good mark, Bern.
Well, he's tried hard in the second half, Michael, but he'd be disappointed with his first half.
Three points the difference. 30 minutes gone, and Ormond put their mark on this game with a brilliant 7-goal second quarter, in which their field kicking, marking, running players. There it is. There's the final score. And the Windsor Ormond has back-to-back A section flags, 14-18 to 8-11.